Okay, so over here we have a difficult problem for cosine. We have unknown values of a, b, and c. Now, take note that b right now is x divided by b. So this actually means that your period is multiplied by b, and that's where we need to be very careful here. So now we look at the curve. Over here, we have that the graph is from here downwards go up. Wow, that's pretty tough because initially if it's at 0 it should be the maximum point, but right now at 0 it's your minimum point, so that is something unique. Alright, so from here you must be careful. So what we're gonna do is, if you think about it, right, how do you make a maximum a minimum point? And if you spend some time to think about it, all you need to do is actually multiply a negative value to the function to make it a minimum point. What do I mean about it? So imagine you have your cosine x curve, right? So your cosine x curve is over here. Okay, I just do it. This is 1 and negative 1, right? If you multiply negative 1, okay, so let's say you translate this and it becomes y equals to negative cosine x. Now you just multiplying this maximum value to become a minimum value. So what happens to the graph now is every point is translated to the negative region. So your graph will now look like that. Right? So that's the magic when it comes to so every minimum point will become a maximum point now, and every maximum point will become a minimum point right now. So this is what happens when you multiply negative cosine x. So if you think about it, right, if it's an original cosine x graph, it's gonna start like that, right? Something like that, right? So from here, your first clue is actually I'm gonna multiply negative. So this a value is gonna be a negative value. Okay. I'm just give you a hint. I won't solve this question for you. Okay, I'll just give you. So next is you want to figure out the value. So remember, if the curve is like that, your amplitude will be a division of 2 of the entire distance between the maximum and minimum point of the graph. So I think we can easily figure out what is A already. Now what's B? So in this case, you must understand that you are given a values, and in this case you see one cycle of the cosine of this graph hits until 8 pi. So this means the original cosine x graph is 2 pi, right? One period is 2 pi. So if it becomes 8 pi now, this means you actually multiplied 4 to your period, right? So it's 2 pi times 4 gives you 8 pi. So if that's the case, it should tell you what the value of B is. Okay. And last but not least, C. Okay, think about it. Your minimum point and maximum point was supposed to be 1 and negative 1. So how do you make it 3 and 1? You just add a certain value, right? And there you go. You have it. Okay. Now, from here, to answer part 3 and 4 is when you reflect something, right, you're gonna make it mirror image. So I'm gonna show you a very good example of what does it mean to be mirror image. Okay, so imagine I have this graph over here. When you reflect it, okay, it's not very drawn very nicely, but you get the point. Okay, something like that. So you're going to reflect it about the x-axis. That means you're going to reflect it, right? It's going to be a mirror image about the axis that we state. So it's going to be something like that. Okay, so this question is saying that the graph of y1 is reflected about in the x-axis to obtain the graph of y2. So picture how you see y2. If it's just simply reflected, wouldn't the amplitude stay the same? And you need to write down the coordinates of the minimum point. So you can choose any minimum point. You can choose here, and that will be your answer for part 4 as well. Okay, so I'm not going to write the answers down for this. Maybe you can give it a try, see how you want to address this question. So that's about it for cosine function.